Welcome to Let's Talk Theater. I'm your host, Julie Whitney Scott, and I'm here today with some of the cast members from CATCO's 9 to 5. Now, 9 to 5 has been around for quite a while now. Some of you remember Dolly Parton's working 9 to 5. Yeah, we just do. Oh, I love that. That is one of the most, that musical represents a whole lot of stuff. Not just singing and dancing, but what goes on 9 to 5 for a woman, a working woman in the business world. And so we're going to talk today with two of the actors that are with us. Now, we have with me today Miss Shauna Davis. You all know her as Shauna Marie. Shauna is one of the, in my opinion, one of the most outstanding young actors that we have right here in Columbus, Ohio. I have with us Miss Annie Huckaba. Now, I'm just now meeting this young lady, so I'm excited to bring her to my audience and let you guys meet her too. Let's start off talking about, first, who you ladies are. Annie, let's start off with you. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how did you start to become an actor?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Annie Huckaba. I grew up in the Cincinnati area, but I went to school at Capitol and I worked here for a little while after graduating. And then I moved to East Tennessee. So I've worked at Dolly Parton's theme park for quite a few years. I was counting, I think like 1,500 shows at Dollywood, which is like insane. Yeah. And I'm so happy to be in Columbus. I'm so happy to be back and I'm really happy to be doing this show. I think it's such a meaningful show to so many people. This movie has really touched a chord back when it was made, and I think still now. I think it's super relevant. And it feels really cool to be playing Dolly. She's been such a big part of my life.
Hello, I'm Shauna Marie. I'm a local Columbus actress. I'm playing Judy in 9 to 5, and I couldn't be more excited because, Judy's definitely a dream role, and honestly, one that I never thought that I would get the opportunity to play. So it's just kind of perfect. And I feel like she's the type of woman who's in this transition period in her life where she's figuring out, what are my dreams? What do I want to do? And what has been holding me back? And how do I let go of that? And obviously, I'm a 30-year-old, I'm a millennial. Like I'm constantly thinking about my own self-development and, what I'm going to do next and what fulfills me. And I love that I get to play this amazing role with this woman who is going through something similar to what I'm going through.
So talk a little bit about how the relationships between the three characters, the women, and if you relate at all to what you're playing and are at all, do you see yourself or do you know of anybody that you're working with, or have worked with, where you see this kind of thing going on and you see these unlikely people that we only come to work, but binding together for a common goal to help uplift them as women. Either one of you can talk on that.
Yeah. I think there's for me, a really beautiful moment early in the show where Doralee no one is paying attention to her. Like it's clear that nobody likes her. And she feels like it's because she's a little culturally different. Like she dresses like really in a loud way. She's like overtly, like false lashes, high heels. And she feels like people don't like her because of that. And she comes in and she's like, you know what? I'm not going to guess that about people. I'm going to ask them if they want to have lunch with me. And everyone keeps denying her. They keep saying no. And she really stands up for herself and says like, this is who I am. And like, you might not get it at first glance, but I think if you look a little closer, you'll come to know like I could be a good friend and I could be someone you like. I think, I mean, for me, that's certainly relatable. I don't feel quite the same way in terms of like being so overtly beautiful. I've never had that experience, but I've certainly had times that I'm like, why am I not fitting here? Like, why do I not feel like I belong? And I think it's really beautiful. She gets to really explain herself.
And your character that you're playing, Shauna Marie, tell us a little bit about her. What's her dilemma in this play? Without giving away any endings, guys. Of course, I don't know who hasn't seen 9 to 5 except the younger generation, you see, but don't give away too much.
Sure. I think Judy is just trying to figure out how to be on her own for the first time in her life. I think there's this really heartbreaking moment where it's very clear she wants to be friends with Doralee because Doralee is so friendly. And I have to literally just reject her. And it makes me really sad. But Judy, I think, is just someone who wants to, I think everyone wants to fit in, but I think she also needs to find her place in the world now that she cannot identify herself the way she used to as a housewife. I think she's very content and felt very successful in being able to say, I am a housewife, I do everything right, and then for her husband to leave her, and like the reality of the world kind of gets shoved in her face because her first job is with this horrible, horrible boss and this horrible workplace. So it's really interesting to watch her navigate that. I think she's also very similar to me because my friends like to call it like hot mess energy. Judy and I have this hot mess energy where there are even some jokes where I'm reading it in the script and I say it completely straight and I didn't get it until probably like 2 weeks into the rehearsal process. But I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Judy is just not with everybody, but she's trying her best. And I can relate to that, definitely.
Yes, we can most definitely relate to that because, as an actor and even as a director, every time you read in the script and every time, especially when you're in rehearsal and you're bringing it and you're hearing those words come out, you get those aha moments like, aha, that's what the play, aha. So I'm with you right there. That's where I'm in right now with a play that I'm directing. And, we keep having these aha moments, even though we've read this, you've had this script in your hand for months now, and you're looking at it. But each time, I think that's what I really love about the arts. Every time you look at the arts, no matter what it is, sometimes you see something different, whether it's a painting or you're reading a book or you're seeing a sculpture, or somebody's doing a performance. It's like every time you see it, if you see that same thing more than once, you see something and hear something different. And I really like that about art. That's why I'm such a passionate art for artists and stuff like that, because it brings the artist, what do I say this? The beauty and the creativity that artists, all of them, bring, it just puts a little extra special light into our world, and we need it. So of all kind. Now the third character that's in here is, talk a little bit about that character so that the audience will know how they fit into this.
Yeah. So there's the two of us, Doralee and Judy, and then we also have Violet, and she's kind of like, she really runs the office, but she's not the boss. And she has these ambitions of moving up in the company, and it's like impossible because it's the old boys club. And, even though she trained somebody, he gets to get the next job because he's a man. And, there's a line about like, well, he's got a family to think of, but like she has a family too, so it kind of, her struggle, I think, is also super relatable to a lot of people. Yeah, and I think her relationship with Judy is really cool to watch. Like, I love watching your scenes together, and I think my relationship with Violet, Doralee and Violet's relationship is really cool. It's also just cool to see like women, like it's not like romance that you're seeing. It's just like women solving problems and like finding their way through something together on stage, I think is really cool.
You know, when you said that one line that hit home when this first came out and hits home now, the fact that the person that is the provider and the breadwinner is the man and not the woman. And especially when we know that there are so many single parents out there, and most of them are women who are really the ones that are providing, you know, for the family. So it's like an insult, you know, when that's said that, but it came with the territory of that's how our society has moved. It started with that's it. The man was the provider. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? So back in the 20s, 30s, the woman was the homemaker. You know, that was her job. So by the time we get around to the 70s and things, and women are like coming out more like, no, we have to work. You know, we're not going to just be living in poverty because our husband leaves us. You know, we are going to get an education. You know, we're not going to be like be put in positions that the other women were, where it was like they had to be abused, they had to suffer, they had to stay in that relationship because who was going to get the job? Who was going to get promoted? Who was going to make the money? Who is the one that society said to them was the provider? And so you get a lot of, well, I can't leave, I can't do this, I can't do that. And so that's the change in it. Nita is, in my mind, she's such a fantastic director. She's just brilliant. I cannot wait to see what she can do with this one, because I just think she's brilliant. And I'm wondering, is there any, without giving it away, but is there something different about this one in this day and age that you may see versus the original, because it was set in that time? You see what I mean, of the 70s, 80s. But now we're here. Do you see any difference in how it's being portrayed? Or is it still that, you know, the way it was? You know what I'm saying? The ladies, the men, and any difference in how that's being portrayed?
I think, without giving anything away, because I want it to be a surprise for everyone who comes to see the show, the way that we staged this, the way that Lita staged it, she made it so that, you know, people who come to see the show who know 9 to 5 and love 9 to 5 will still get to see 9 to 5, but the way that we set up the space, they also have to really be privy to these private moments that I think every woman has probably experienced. But when you are however many feet away, rather than in a proscenium, safe behind that fourth wall, you wouldn't super experience. So you know, there's the potential to be a little bit more uncomfortable, but also there's a potential for a little bit more realism in how I think we're doing it, in my opinion.
What about you, Annie? What you think?
Yeah, I think when I'm like reading the script or just sort of experiencing the story as we go through it, what really hits home for me is like there's a scene where the three women are making changes in the office. You know, instead of, I think there's like an Amazon labor union organizer that said, we're not quitting our jobs anymore, like we're fixing it, we're making it better. And I feel like there's that vibe in this story that's so relevant right now, and very much like in the collective consciousness of like, we want our work to be better. Like we want to work. We just want it to be palatable. Like we want it to be a good time from 9 to 5. And I think, at least for me, that hits home more now than I think it would have before.
That's good. That's good. Why should people come see 9 to 5?
I think this story, it touches on so many ideas that a lot of us are already thinking about right now, with like how can we balance our work and our life, and how can we, deal with people that are gross to us, and like how can we set these boundaries. And there's a lot of themes that a lot of us are already like wrestling with and thinking about. I think it's really powerful to watch those played out, and I also think it's really powerful to watch them played out with comedy and with like lightness. And this show is so like funny and delightful, so you're not leaving like being stressed about the world. Like I hope people will leave feeling like uplifted and like in a positive state, but still having had a chance to think through some of these things.
That's good because, that's 9 to 5 is about that. It's about thinking about the situation, and having empathy about something else. And not only that, having empathy about something that was just regular. I mean, it's just, oh, people work, they go to work, what, there's something going, So I really like what you said about how it's going to have the way Lee has it set up, where you can really, and that's the difference too, anyway, between the stage and the film. You're more intimate. You can really get here and really think about what you're seeing and what you're hearing. So, and I can't think of anybody that would walk out of 9 to 5 and not be happy, because working 9 to 5, I mean, just that, the music and everything. It's about it's a movie about empowering women. And I think it's also a movie about that's opening to hopefully their eyes to men about, like, if I've been doing this on the job, you know what I mean? Or if I've been unconsciously doing things based on the way it always has been, and the way it's been ingrained in us that, I'm the breadwinner, I get top dollar. Hey, I'm the man, so I'm hoping that'll happen. And I'm also hoping, I think one of you said that when the women walk out too, if they find themselves in a job that they're working in or something, and they're feeling like that they come out feeling a little bit more, well, maybe I can do something, or maybe I can, it's not hopeless, I'll go and ask somebody again one more time for lunch. You know what I mean? Or maybe I can, the next time they come to me and ask me to go to lunch, be a little more kinder, a little more empathetic, as a woman to another woman in a work environment, where we all just trying to do the best we can to provide for our families.
CATCO has done a fabulous job incorporating diversity in all of their casts. And I think that this is a really great show. That's a really great example of how to do that and how it's done. Lita does a great job with that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, she's a brilliant director and a brilliant caster. And I just love her work. I really do. I love her work. Okay. She's great. And she usually does a great job with that. Well, I'm really excited to see 9 to 5. We got so many great plays that are coming to Columbus starting this week, next week, and all through February. And this is one that I hope that people really get out there and see, so that you can have a really good time with 9 to 5 and these beautiful ladies that are with us today, and also the rest of the cast, which are a great cast. You're going to love it. And like I said, Lita Hoffman, she good. So you're going to get a really great show when you go there. Before we close out, I would like for you guys to give our audience a word of encouragement that you can think of related to 9 to 5 and a working situation. You want to start first, Ann?
Sure. A word of encouragement. Related to 9 to 5. I think
anything to do with working for women in general.
Yeah. Can I go second? I have to think about it.
Shauna, do you have one? You want to go?
Sure.
Word of encouragement? Okay.
I'll use a song pun. I'd say if there's something in your job, especially as a woman, that you feel that is not working for you, change it and be that person in your life and in your office for sure.
Yeah. I'd say there's a line in the show where Doralee says, "I've been forgiven and forgetting because that's the way I was brought up. But sometimes you got to put that forgiven and forgetting aside, and you got to make your voice be heard."
That's great. So, Shauna, why don't you tell us how we get tickets for 9 to 5?
So the easiest way is just go on Google and Google CATCO 9 to 5, but the website is www.catco.org/2022-23/9-2-5. So just Google it.
And like you said, just go to the website or Google it and then push that button. All righty. Thank you so much for joining me today, Shauna Marie and Annie, on Let's Talk Theater 9 to 5. I will be in the seats. We'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.